Today we're gonna be talking about the strongest Uchiha ever, a character that's very obscure and many people don't even know he exists. We're gonna be talking about Hikaku Uchiha. Hikaku was a ninja that lived during the Warring States period, and he was, of course, from the Uchiha clan. In that period in time, the Uchiha clan had to fight wars against many powerful clans, including the Senju clan. This means that Hikaku lived in a time where being strong was actually a very big deal, and the bar was very high. And you know how I know he is stronger than Madara at the time? Because in the data books, it is stated that Hikaku, even though he was very young, he was the most talented Uchiha individual. The most talented in his entire clan. This is a pretty big deal because he lived at the same time Madara Uchiha did. So this just speaks by itself. But just saying that he was the most talented, powerful Uchiha in the Warring States period wouldn't really make justice to the character. No, we have to tell the character's story, and of course this story is not told in the manga. Actually, Hikaku Uchiha only appears in a single panel of the manga. He doesn't get much screen time. I mean, if you're complaining about Shisui not having enough screen time, Hikaku's way worse, and he is much more powerful than Shisui. So I had to dig deep in order to find what actually happened to Hikaku Uchiha, what he did during his life, how he died. We're gonna be covering everything in this video. This was pretty difficult to find, so please subscribe to this channel and like this video to reward my efforts. I think this story is going to be very fun. So Hikaku was born a little bit after Madara. He was 1 year younger actually. Unlike Madara, he had no siblings. His parents were not that well known in the Uchiha clan. They were low tier Uchiha as far as everyone was concerned. We all know Tajima Uchiha, Madara's dad, was the leader of the Uchiha clan, and therefore Madara would eventually inherit the Uchiha clan. So Hikaku wasn't even expected to excel as a shinobi. Early in his life, many people thought he was going to die in the battlefield like so many other kids did in that time. Because boy, he was sent on many battles. Almost ever since he was born, he began to fight in the Warring States period against several clans, including the Sarutobi clan, the Uzumaki clan, and the Senju clan from the young age of 5 years old. Not only did he survive those battles, but he excelled in them. He was a valuable asset from that early age, more powerful than the average adult from the Uchiha clan, which gave more prestige to his parents and to his side of the family, which never really produced any formidable shinobis. He spent his entire childhood fighting, but Hikaku Uchiha was not your ordinary Uchiha. He never gave in to hatred and other such emotions. He awakened the Sharingan after seeing his entire squad being wiped out by Sasuke Sarutobi. Yes, the name of the Sarutobi clan leader back in the day was Sasuke, actually. Pretty interesting. Sasuke Sarutobi was an extremely powerful shinobi. He killed several Uchihas, including Hikaku's entire squad, when he was about 11, and that's what prompted him to awaken his Sharingan. He then fought against Sasuke Sarutobi briefly, and he was beaten. He was about to be killed as well. However, reinforcements arrived, including Madara himself, which by that point had already broken his relationship with Hashirama when they were kids. He was saved by Madara and his dad as well, and they were pretty glad they did because Hikaku was a valuable asset, even though they were not pleased by what Sasuke Sarutobi has done. But the one who was most displeased was, of course, Hikaku, who watched the mayhem firsthand. In that day, he vowed to hunt down and kill Sasuke Sarutobi for what he did to the Uchiha clan. Not for a sense of revenge, no. He was a different type of shinobi. He wanted justice. He wanted this cycle of war and destruction to stop, but the only way he could do so was by making sure the Uchiha clan would emerge victorious. He spent many more years, up until when he was 16, fighting in this unending war. And at that point, his Sharingan had fully developed his 3 tomoes. He was so talented, he was able to use every single nature transformation, and he was also proficient with sealing jutsu and healing jutsu. He was also a very good sensory type, which made him a very complete shinobi. It was about this point when Madara became the leader of the Uchiha clan. Madara and Izuna awakened the Mangekyo, and then they became the most prominent members. They were already pretty prestigious among the clan, but then with the awakening of the Mangekyo, they simply got much more powerful. Hikaku got a little bit overshadowed by Madara becoming the leader. However, Madara trusted Hikaku, and the task Madara gave Hikaku after Madara became the leader was a very difficult one, but one Hikaku was ready to take upon. We all know how Madara's story went and in the Warring States period, he was constantly fighting against Hashirama and the Senju clan. But one thing most people don't know is that the Uchiha clan wasn't only fighting against the Senju, it was essentially a free-for-all, and because the Uchihas were so powerful, they had so many enemies. Hikaku became a general for the Uchiha clan that would fight in the front lines against the Sarutobis, the Shimuras, the Uzumakis, and other powerful clans, while Madara was distracted, quote-unquote, by the Senju clan, which was definitely their biggest rival. However, when you combine all those other clans, which are not weak by any means, you still have to deal with a formidable force of opponents. And Hikaku's responsibility from the age of 16 was to be the leader of that second front in the war. He quickly began to organize the Uchiha clan into an army, at least a portion of the Uchiha clan he had control over. And that's why he became known as a general. He excelled with battlefield strategy. He was able to win battles against 3 or 4 clans that were combined together, making an alliance to try and defeat the Uchiha. Even though he was outnumbered 5-1, he was able to win with brilliant strategies, and also because he was so powerful in the battlefield. Some enemies even said that Hikaku Uchiha had never seen a jutsu he couldn't copy with his Sharingan. After Hikaku had turned 18, he managed to defeat 100 opponents at the same time, and not just any fodder opponents, no. He fought against the force of the Yamanaka, Nara, and Akimichi clans, which by that time were already making that alliance happen. They fought against Hikaku and a small squad he brought to the battlefield, and he was actually protecting one of the cities within what would be known as the Land of Fire one day. His mission was to defend it from other clans that had missions to take it over, and he was able to do so with a handful of ninjas, he himself killing 100 in that particular day, including the heads of the Nara, Akimichi, and Yamanaka clans. The clan leaders were decimated, and this forced those 3 clans to pull back, not just from the city, but from the entire war. Hikaku then became known for his battle genius. However, one thing would happen that would change Hikaku's life forever. He had never forgotten about Sasuke Sarutobi, the man who showed no mercy to his friends when he was a child. One day he found out through one of his scout squads that Sasuke Sarutobi was near, and he then went to meet the man. Before he was ever able to reach Sasuke Sarutobi, he encountered a female kunoichi, one Mada Sarutobi. She was a powerful shinobi. Around his age, he's been fighting in the war as long as Hikaku had. And unbeknownst to him, Mada was Sasuke Sarutobi's daughter. Hikaku and Mada fought. Hikaku eventually came out on top, but he chose mercy. He spared her life and took her as a prisoner. He didn't know at the time that she was the daughter of the man he hated so much, but once he imprisoned her, she began to talk to him, and things simply developed. Hikaku Uchiha struck up a romance with the daughter of his most hated enemy. It was very awkward. She was still a prisoner of the Uchiha clan, but she was his lover. Even still, she wasn't allowed to leave her cell. Hikaku made sure many ninjas were always watching so that the Sarutobi clan wouldn't come and try to rescue her. And in one day, she finally confessed that she was the daughter of Sasuke Sarutobi. Worse yet, she also revealed that she was pregnant from Hikaku. Hikaku was at odds with himself. He didn't know what to do. They would have a child, an Uchiha Sarutobi child. Something that had essentially no precedent in the Warring States period. Clans never married outside of the clan, and Hikaku didn't really know what to say. He didn't know what to do, what to tell Madara, his leader. He didn't know what to do about Mada Sarutobi because she never told him the truth. That was definitely something she could have done, but she chose not to. Of course, for good reason. She knew that if they had known they had the daughter of the leader of her clan, this would give them a massive advantage. And so Hikaku did something a little bit crazy. For the first time in his life, he didn't really think rationally. He sent a formal letter to Sasuke Sarutobi, challenging him for a battle to the death. And strangely, Sasuke Sarutobi accepted. Of course, that's because, first and foremost, Sasuke wanted his daughter back, but he had a plan clan too. When they met to fight their climactic battle, the Sarutobi clan actually laid a trap. They ambushed the Uchihas that were watching and snatched Mada back, a pregnant Mada. She then fought her rescuer. She didn't want to go back. She loved Hikaku so much. She couldn't really be apart from him. Sasuke Sarutobi noticed that Madara would bear a child, and he knew that it would have been an Uchiha child because that was the only option. She'd been a prisoner of the Uchiha clan for over a year. So Sasuke Sarutobi got extremely angry. He could not accept a grandson from the Uchiha clan. Madara was fighting her rescuers while Hikaku was fighting Sasuke Sarutobi. But upon seeing that, Sasuke Sarutobi changed tactics and did something unthinkable. He killed Mada, his own child, bearing his grandson, because he didn't want to taint the Sarutobi bloodline. Hikaku obviously saw everything happening. He couldn't believe his eyes. This man had done it again, killed yet another of his companions. But this time, it was the person he has loved the most with his future child. The anguish was too great, and Hikaku awakened the Mangekyo Sharingan. With so much anger, the newfound powers of the Mangekyo Sharingan completely overwhelmed Sasuke Sarutobi, and Hikaku destroyed him and every single Sarutobi standing in the battlefield. He had never felt so much hatred his entire life, but now he had an option. He could use those new powers to make sure the Uchiha clan would win, and he began to win even more victories that were shockingly devastating. This forced the clans Hikaku was fighting against to align themselves with the Senju clan, and that's when Madara's younger brother died. And then we know the story. Madara gets his EMS, fights Hashirama one last time during the Warring States period, and then the Uchiha clan forms a pact with the Senju clan, founding the Leaf Village. Hikaku never really liked this because the people he has been fighting his entire life, the people who took everything from him, were now his allies. This was a very odd time. To make things even worse, his eyes were losing light, and he never had a brother that he could take his eyes from and gain new light like Madara did. He had no option. Hikaku turned blind. He lobbied very strongly for Madara to become the first Hokage, however Hashirama was chosen, like we all know. And even blinded, Hikaku still fought for his clan. He was killed in the first Great Ninja War while fighting against the First Tsuchikage. Later, the First Tsuchikage noted Hikaku Uchiha was by no means an easy opponent. Even without his formidable Mangekyo Sharingan and his eyesight, he was still one of the most dangerous opponents I have ever fought. And this is where the story of Hikaku ended. If you've enjoyed this story, please like this video and subscribe to this channel. This was a lot of work to find, a lot of pieces to put together from different sources. If you want to see the sources, they're all going to be down in the description below. Thank you so much for watching.